Hi, my name is Cynthia Perez, and the presentation I'll be showing you today is on classroom inclusion. What is classroom inclusion? Before I share with you what an inclusive classroom is, we look at the definition of inclusion. Inclusion means equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded. So the concept of inclusion is including all. So an inclusive classroom is an educational setting where children come together to learn and build relationships with a zero reject principle. The environment in an inclusive classroom will vary and house all types of students. Students with different learning styles, with special needs, with disabilities, impairments, or with emotional and behavioral disorders. All these kids will receive the same educational skills, but the way it's presented will vary. Classroom inclusion is beneficial for all students. Studies have proven that classroom inclusion has its short and long-term positive benefits. For example, children with disabilities miss school less often, they develop stronger skills, and are more likely to find jobs and pursue a higher education. For the children without disabilities, they develop higher self-esteem, they're comfortable around others, and become more caring for people with differences. Here I share some strategies to set up an inclusive classroom. A general education teacher and a special ed teacher collaborate with each other to plan out a lesson and provide the support needed to all the children in the classroom. Teachers can break students into smaller groups to help tailor their needs with differentiated instruction. Teachers can apply to their curriculum the universal design for learning, which is an approach that targets all learning styles that will help the students succeed. Under the universal design for learning, teachers present the material in different ways so students are able to comprehend the lecture. This setup also creates high expectations for all students and challenges them to meet what is expected to learn in all subjects for that school year. This video clip that I will share with you is what a meaningful inclusive classroom looks like. You will hear what parents have to say about how their children have benefited from an inclusive classroom.
I felt nervous, very nervous. I was with him full time, and then to hand him over is nerve-wracking.
It's mostly fear of the unknown. I didn't know how we would fare in a classroom setting with all those typically developing kids, and then how he would understand those instructions and those lessons that are being taught by the teachers.
In early childhood, every classroom is an inclusive classroom. Whether you're talking about children with abilities or just children that have had different life experiences up until this point. You look at your environment differently, and how is the environment accessible to every child, and how is your environment set up so that every child is getting exactly what they need.
Our mission and vision statement are anchored in high expectations and outcomes for all students. So living that out at the early childhood level, that was the work.
I think it all starts with that IEP process, so really having that evaluation team and the current team writing those functional goals and objectives. My goal is that services such as speech, OT, PT, all those could be embedded right within the classroom and the routines that we have.
When you are an early childhood kid, between 3 and 5 years old, you want to do what your friends are doing. And to have children, the expectation that they're going to sit and do one specific thing, at any given time that you choose doesn't always work out. But when it's an itinerant model, having those service providers coming into the environment, working with kids, doing things that kids are naturally doing, is in the best interest of kids.
We used to have our kids that are the kids in childcare, and then our kids with IEPs that were joining that group. So it kind of starting out to meeting those needs more individually, which has really turned into all that joint ownership. All kids belong, both reg ed and special ed teacher and therapists too, that we all are a team for every child.
I think teachers learn from other teachers. And so when you have special education people in there, whether it's an OT or a PT or a speech person or just a special education teacher, they are modeling different behaviors or using different words that as the regular ed teacher, you can listen and go, oh, I may be able to use that with another child.
He's learning in class, he's engaged in class, he has relationships.
Before, we were like thinking maybe we're going to be there for the rest of our lives to support him with all the needs that he got. But we are so happy to see that he can really do the things that he can do right now. Those skills has developed so much. He can truly create something wonderful, and that really makes us very proud.
I think what we know now is that there are more questions than there are answers, and to be open to every opportunity that you are given, to learn and to develop always what's in the best interest of the child, and to give them those opportunities to show you what they need and to listen to them.
It makes me really optimistic for his future. You know, I used to worry a lot about, would he fit in? Would he get picked on? How would his classroom environment be? But he has become quite the popular guy at school. So he comes into class and I can't even tell you how many kids hug him. He has true friendships, true relationships in class. And he brings a special just energy to his class. And it's positive for his classmates too, to see that.
I hope inclusion promotes awareness to those typically developing kids that there are other kids like our son that need support as they try to learn their way through life.
There's a softness there, there's an empathy there that I see in his peers. So we didn't expect that, but we love it. We know I felt nervous, very nervous.
In the following video, I modeled differentiated instruction in an inclusive classroom.
Hello, my name is Ms. Perez and this is Mr. Skeleton, and we're both going to be co-teaching together an all-inclusive classroom. Let me begin by introducing you to my students. We have Jack, Sally, Zero, and on this side we have Shock, Barrel, and Luck. I will show you what a classroom inclusion may look like. Mr. Skeleton and I have finished reading The Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carlisle to the students, and we will put them together in a group to work together to help each other out. In my classroom, all my students have different needs and different learning styles, and to accommodate all these various needs, in an inclusive classroom, we must provide students with differentiated instruction. After we have finished reading The Hungry Caterpillar, we will put the students together into two separate groups so they can work together and rely on each other. Students will pick a way of presenting their activity in the way that interests them. For example, this group decided to retell and act out the story in their own words, as well as draw out pictures from the book. Here's an example of what they drew on a poster board, and they also decided to act out the story and retell it at the same time. On this side, this group decided to find props around the classroom to show and tell, and they also decided to retell and act out the story. They helped each other out and gave each other an equal opportunity for this assignment. Hello, my name is Ms. Perez.
To conclude my presentation, I leave you with a reminder that no child should be excluded from obtaining an equal educational opportunity based on their ability. Classroom inclusion is no doubt beneficial for all students, so they may learn to work together and build stronger caring relationships. Through differentiated instruction, children will gain stronger skills and become more confident and self-motivated. I leave you with this quote. Inclusion is based on the belief that students of all abilities have the right to an education that is meaningful, appropriate, and equivalent to that of their peers. Thank you.